Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Yongdao Zhang, who is an assistant professor in Department of Animal and Food Science at UWRF. My major emphasis is swine nutrition, and I am glad to meet you even though it is a pre-recorded presentation, and I hope you are enjoying this presentation and Badger Swine Symposium with great topics. I am conducting swine nutrition researches at UWRF with undergraduate students, and today I would like to share my research and future researches coming up regarding iron injection for piglets with you. So now let's get started. I conducted two researches with newborn piglets injected with iron at birth and one more time before weaning. We all know baby piglets need iron injection around birth because they don't have enough iron reserve in the body at birth, and sow milk has low iron content. So these newborn piglets are susceptible to iron deficiency anemia. It is common practice in swine industry that we inject about 150 to 200 milligram of iron within the first week of their life to prevent piglets from the anemia and make sure they will grow well. But these suckling piglets are growing so fast. This is true as they are born around 3 to 4 pounds, but their weaning weight is around 15 to 20 pounds at 3 to 4 weeks of weaning age. So the weaning weight is usually around 4 to 5 times of their birth weight, and the weaning weight is getting increased due to the increased weaning age. So if you look at this graph for hematocrit in blood, which is an indicator of the amount of red blood cell, and this data is from University of Kentucky. So they injected different levels of iron at birth, 0 to 300 milligram of iron, and no injection in this blue line definitely had reduced the hematocrit content, and this resulted in slowest growth in this study. And 100 or 200 milligram of iron injection, this green and purple line, this one and this one, showed there was an increase of hematocrit percentage after iron injection at birth. So it's increased like this. But in 100 milligram of iron level, this green line, there is a decline of hematocrit from a week after iron injection, and the hematocrit start to decline around until day 21 of age. So therefore, this means that a single iron injection at birth may not be sufficient to prevent large piglets from anemia if the weaning age is over day 21 of age, like day 28. So we may need another shot of iron before weaning to ensure they have enough iron to sufficiently synthesize hemoglobin for oxygen transport for their metabolism and growth. So potential benefit of additional iron injection could be an improvement in hematological status so that it enhances piglet growth around weaning. So therefore, my questions in the research were that do we really need another iron injection before weaning? If so, does the effectiveness of additional iron injection depend on which factors? Probably the level of iron additionally injected to piglets and their hematological status at the time of iron administration that may be affected by the level of the first iron injection at birth. So we conducted two studies last year with the objective to evaluate the effect of additional iron injection in suckling piglets when administered before weaning or with two levels of iron at birth on pre-weaning growth performance and hematocrit levels to see if the secondary iron injection is necessary to enhance weaning weight of piglets and what affects its effectiveness. So for the first study, we used 4 liters having 9 to 11 piglets with average 10.25 piglets per liter. And there were total 24 piglets in the first trial with 6 piglets per liter with 2 piglets per treatment per liter. They received first iron injection with 200 milligram at day 1 of age, and they were processed and castrated at the same time of the first iron injection. Then they were allotted to 3 treatments within a liter based on body weight and sex before the second injection, which was at 11 day before weaning, and that was day 16 of age. So the treatments were no additional iron injection and 100 milligram of iron injection at 11 days before weaning and 200 milligram of iron injection at 11 days before weaning. A common iron-dextran product was used in this study for both injections. And weaning age was 27 days of age, and we measured pre-weaning growth performance and hematocrit percentage as an indicator of oxygen carrying capacity from the second iron injection as day 0 before injection, and day 7 and day 11 post-injection. The second study used 5 liters with 20 piglets in total, so that there were 4 piglets per liter with 2 piglets per treatment per liter. We injected 2 different levels of iron, 100 milligram and 200 milligram at birth, day 1 or 2 of age, as our 2 treatments after allotting pigs to the treatment within a liter based on body weight and sex. Also, piglets were processed and castrated, same as experiment 1. Then the same 200 milligram of iron injection was additionally injected to all piglets 11 days before weaning, which was 15 to 16 days of age. Their weaning age was 20 to 27 days of age. Again, the same source of iron-dextran was used for both injections, and the measurements were also same as experiment 1. But there were day 0 right before the first iron injection, day 7, day 14, it's actually before the second injection, and day 21 and day 25 after the first injection. So the result of the first experiment, there was no change in growth performance during suckling period after the second iron injection. But we may need to see how they will do in the nursery period after weaning, since about 11 days after the second injection until weaning may not be enough for hemoglobin synthesis with the iron injected to be used for their metabolism and growth. In the hematocrit data in this experiment 1, we saw an increase in hematocrit percentage when additional iron injection was injected before weaning, regardless of the level. So here. But there was a further increase in 200 milligram second iron injection treatment after 1 week post-injection. So here, so further increase in 200 milligram of second iron injection. So this resulted in greater hematocrit level in 200 milligram treatment, okay, than 100 milligram treatment at weaning. In the second trial, there was again no statistical difference in pre-weaning growth performance among the treatments. And again, we may need to see the post-weaning growth performance with the second iron injection. And however, in the hematocrit data, we found a lot of interesting results. So 200 milligram of iron injection at birth increased the hematocrit percentage more than 100 milligram iron level. If you look at the numbers on day 14 post-injection, so there was no difference at birth, and then at day 14, they have the 200 milligram at birth treatment had a higher hematocrit level compared to 100 milligram iron level at birth. So that is actually expected that higher level of iron injection, okay, the greater hematocrit level in their blood. And if you look at the change of hematocrit, 200 milligram of iron injection at birth had greater increase in hematocrit than 100 milligram of iron injection at birth. As you can see in day 0 to 7 numerically, and day 7 to 14 with tendency, and in day 0 to 14, so before second iron injection, okay, with tendency, okay, about over 2 times. Then after a 200 milligram iron was additionally injected to all piglets 11 days before weaning. So here at day 14 post injection, so we will look at day 14 to day 25, okay, data. So there was an increase in hematocrit level in both treatments, but a higher increase was observed in 100 milligram at birth treatment, okay, where, okay, there was low, so here, so greater, okay, greater increase in 100 milligram iron at birth treatment, where the lower, okay, hematocrit level, okay, was in their blood at the time of the second iron injection, compared with 200 milligram iron at birth treatment, where the higher hematocrit level was there at the time of second injection. And although there was additional iron injection at by 200 milligram to all piglets, 200 milligram iron at birth treatment maintained higher hematocrit level than 100 milligram iron at birth treatment at weaning. Okay, so still significantly different, even though the magnitude of difference in hematocrit percentage between treatments decreased by second iron injection. So between these two and between these two decreased. And it was interesting to note that in 200 milligram iron at birth, when the same level of iron injected at birth and day 11 before weaning, the increase of hematocrit level in day 0 to 14 post-injection from birth, this number, was greater than in day 14 to 25, oh, sorry. Oh, that's correct. That was greater than in day 14 to 25 post-injection, okay, after the second injection. Okay, so there was more increase, okay, from the birth to day 14, okay, with first injection, okay, but not for second injection. So it is because that the piglets had much lower hematocrit level at birth, okay, here 25%, than day 14 at the second injection 37. So there was more room for increase of hematocrit in early life stage. So the summary here, there was no effect of second iron injection before weaning on growth performance, but we need to study more for pre-weaning performance since there are some researches that showed increased post-weaning growth with additional iron injection before weaning. And an additional iron injection could increase hematocrit level for piglets before weaning, but greater increase was observed with 200 milligram of second iron injection than 100 milligram of iron in experimental 1. Even though 200 milligram of iron injection at birth increased hematocrit level more than 100 milligram of iron, greater increase of hematocrit level was observed by the additional iron injection when the pigs had lower hematocrit level at the time of additional iron injection, which was observed in 100 milligram of iron at birth treatment. So with these results, I have a plan for 3 different follow-up studies. First one is split iron injection. So it could be toxic if you injected iron to your piglets with overdose, particularly in small piglets. So this study will investigate the effect of split iron injection with 3 treatments containing control with a 100 milligram of iron injection at birth and 200 milligram of iron injection at birth with no additional iron injection. Then this 200 milligram of iron will be split into 2 injections for each 100 milligram at birth and day 14 of age with weaning at day 28 of age. So this injection strategy could reduce stress of iron overdose at birth, probably for small size piglet. Then we will measure pre-weaning and post-weaning growth performance with hematological parameters, including hemoglobin and hematocrit. The second one is iron injection by body weight. We typically inject 150 to 200 milligram of iron to the piglets, a common level for all piglets regardless of their size, body weight. But if small one is injected with iron at high level, it could be toxic to them. On the other hand, if large one gets iron at typical level, it may not be enough for them. So with average birth weight approximately 1.6 kilogram in the previous studies, treatment 1 in this study will get 200 milligram of iron at birth as a common level, and treatment 2 will get 125 milligram of iron per kilogram of their body weight at birth. So they will get 200 milligram of iron if they are 1.6 kilogram of body weight. And the heavier one will get more, and the lighter one will get less. So it is a kind of tailored iron injection for our newborn piglets, and the measurement will be the same. The third one will be related to timing for secondary iron injection. So I used in these previous studies about 15 to 16 days of age for secondary iron injection and had no difference in pre-weaning growth performance. So this may mean that piglets may need more time to effectively utilize injected iron for themselves in the metabolism and growth. So in this third trial, a 150 milligram of iron will be injected to piglets at birth without additional iron injection as a control treatment, and with the same level of iron injected to piglets at birth. The second iron injection will be given to piglets at day 14 of age or day 21 of age, with weaning age at day 28 of age, so that we can see when and how long the secondary iron injection be effective for pre and post-weaning period. So I hope to share the result next time. Okay, so this is all my presentation, and thanks for your time and attention in this presentation. And if you have any question, please feel free to email me through this email address. Thank you and bye-bye.